I think this is a very interesting question because I heard so many times about people who did a renovation and they kind of lost what was bringing the charm of the space. This is a townhouse, meaning that it's a house that is in between two other houses and they share the same walls. It is a house that was made about 100 years ago. I think that was right after the Second World War, and the designer was a Swiss architect. This house is located in the east of France, not so far from Switzerland. When I visited the house for the first time, I really liked the charm of the place, and I thought that when I renovate it, I should do it in a way that respects the place, take into account the history of the place. And this is my way of thinking that I would like to share in this video. First, you have to identify what makes this place unique, because there usually are a few things. Like in my case, when I entered into this place for the first time, or even when I saw the pictures, I saw that the stairs were very special. Then I also remember that I saw this wooden stove that is super amazing, super beautiful. I think this is an original wooden stove from the region, and I saw so many of them on these secondhand websites. Unfortunately, the person who was selling the house didn't want to leave it in the place. And I actually thought, okay, maybe then I can bring another one. I could do it in the future, but this is not a necessary thing. And of course, sometimes you cannot keep everything. That just makes me think about this wall that I had in the house. So basically, this is an arch that was completed with some shelves in between, and I find it kind of nice, to be honest. So that was really a question if I should keep it or not. And at the end, when I started to design everything, I realized that to adapt the place to my current needs, I wanted to create rather an open space with the kitchen open to the living room, and in that sense it was necessary to open the wall. I could have opened only the arch, like the shelf, and leave the arch, but I really wanted to make the space breathe. So that's the reason why I decided, okay, this is not something I absolutely need to keep, and I think the space is going to be better without keeping it. So of course it's always a balance between what you want to keep, what brings charm, but also what are your needs. When I arrived, I realized that the facade had its charm as well. Yes, it looks old, but it looks cute actually. And I knew that I wanted to keep it with this kind of wooden shutters and this molding around the windows, especially. I mean, these are choices that we all make, but when I was looking at the house from the neighbor, they basically insulated the whole facade from the outside, and they created these kind of shutters that are probably electrical, so it's easier to live in, etc. But I think it kind of lost something, and that's definitely what I didn't want. The other part of it could be to identify what makes it special. For example, in my case, there are these wall sconces that you can see all over the place in different bedrooms or so in the staircase. And I think that this is not something that we see in every apartment, but I do think that it adds something special to the place. And I decided to keep it that way and to actually have more wall sconces as well. And then you also have to identify what brings charm. It's not necessarily like something unique. Okay, this is a wooden floor. It's something you can find in many different places, but this kind of materials that bring charm when it's a natural material, when it has a history sometimes. This is the kind of things you should try to keep and preserve. So this wooden floor was basically present in the whole house, mainly in the bedrooms, on the ground floor, and that's something I will definitely keep. You just have to sand it and to put a protective layer on it, and this is done. This is easy, fast, not more expensive than making it new. There were also these kind of tiles that were in different parts of the place. It also has its charm. They are basically called tomates, specific from the south of France. They were created with the soil around the manufactory. There were different ones in the south of France, and then they were exporting it in the whole country. And you're gonna ask me, okay, but why if it doesn't look perfect? Because it looks used. I want to have something that is fresh, and I totally get it. And I do think that having everything perfect is not necessarily better than just keeping it as it is. And I have this example with a designer that I love. Let me show you. Oh, I found it. Look. These are exactly the kind of tiles, this is the kind of tiles that I have in my place. Here, also here. And so this is all over the floor, and it's painted in white in some places, and you can really see that it looks used. I mean, clearly this is not new, but I think this is what makes it beautiful. And as you can see, this is also a luxury residence. I also have this other one. So I think that even if it's not perfect, you should definitely think about keeping some of the existing materials. And it's totally okay. If it's not perfect, it is totally okay. It's totally fine. It's beautiful. We love it. As designers, we love it. And I just want to talk about this last point, which is for the facade. I was also very lucky because, I wanted to keep the facade as it is with the wooden shutters and everything. But in reality, there were some places where they looked a bit used. Actually, my neighbor decided to get rid of the shutters, and she has exactly the same in white. And she decided to get rid of her shutters because she wanted to upgrade in a way her facade with doing these electrical shutters. So I asked her if I could get them, and she said yes. So now I have them in my garden, and I know that there are a few that I'm gonna replace in the future. So what I mean is that now, the market of secondhand things is really present also in the construction. And I think this is a very beautiful thing to pursue. And to conclude, if you buy a place that has some charm in it and if you plan to renovate it, I think it's really important to consider keeping the charm of it, keeping the history of the place. And you can make it very beautiful that way. You can also, in the process of thinking when you renovate a place, do it in so many different ways. And I think this is the way we should start to think now. Not only, making things new from new materials, but also reusing some materials, because you can find so many cool things on the internet from people who are getting rid of them when they're renovating. Like, for example, I saw last time this kind of wooden frame around the door. That was so beautiful. I think it takes time because it doesn't necessarily fit what you're looking for, but you can find amazing things like this. Or there are so many people getting rid of their wooden stove that are so beautiful and they work well. So why not? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the little talk, and see you for the next one.